In less than a month, the Prime Minister is expected to call the federal election, and there's a long list of independents preparing to stand. Many of them are taking on some of the biggest names in politics, but getting elected as an independent isn't that easy. Nationally, only 12 independents have been elected to the House of Representatives since 1950. At the last federal election, there were 108 independent candidates in the lower house races. Of those, 84 lost their deposits after polling less than 4%. Only 7 polled more than 10% and only 4 polled more than 20% to finish in the final preference count. Just 2 were elected. But as Noor Haydar discovered for tonight's special report, those odds aren't deterring independents gearing up for a fight. The Aboriginal word Warringah means sign of rain, and in this beachside Liberal-held electorate, a storm is brewing.
Tony represents Tony. He's a wrecker of the government. Everyone knows that.
We don't care really who gets in, vote Tony out.
At a nearby office, Tony Abbott's independent challenger Zali Steggall is at work in her campaign HQ.
Hello. Come on in. Come and meet the team. Sure.
With a small paid team and nearly 400 volunteers on board, the barrister and Olympian thinks she can deliver what Warringah wants.
I always use the analogy that it's like you're starting a new business and you're putting a product to market very quickly, and you have to be on top of the market very fast.
Is this enough to take on the Liberal Party machine?
I think so, because one of the advantages we have is that we're young and fresh, and we have...
She's a political novice, but others in her team bring more experience to the mix. Her campaign manager, Louise Hislop, also worked on James Matheson's failed bid for Warringah in 2016.
The feeling in the community is very different to last time round. We've had close to 500 donations, I believe, and most of them from within Warringah, but quite a number from outside Warringah as well.
I'm confident that the people of Warringah understand that if you want a strong and stable government in Canberra that keeps our community safe and our economy strong, you've got to vote Liberal.
Analysts say dislodging the incumbent will be no easy feat.
It's a big move for a lot of voters to actually shift their vote. It's not as easy as we assume, and so she has a real challenge ahead of her in Warringah. If anywhere was going to elect an independent in 2019, it will be a rural seat.
That's exactly what Voices for Indi in regional Victoria want to hear.
Hello, Peg.
In 2013, the grassroots movement successfully launched independent Cathy McGowan to Parliament after decades of Liberal representation.
We were stuck in this sort of cycle of being a political backwater, a safe Liberal seat where no one really needed to give us any attention.
They've now thrown their support behind local nurse Helen Haynes to replace the retiring McGowan.
I'm really confident that the people of Indi recognise the value of an independent and will stick with it.
Across the harbour from Warringah only 4 months ago, independent Dr Karen Phelps made history in Wentworth. The popular GP rode a wave of anger over the dumping of Malcolm Turnbull and his government's climate change policies. And now she's attempting to do it all over again.
My wife Jackie and I have decided that we will again underwrite the campaign, and we will be getting crowdsourced funding for people who are wanting to donate to the campaign.
Perfect. Her cause was aided by an influx of Get Up activists. More than 10,000 are purported to be mobilising against the Liberals in Warringah too.
They'll outspend us 10 or 20 to 1. Tony Abbott has huge backers in corporate Australia who will bankroll his campaign. What we have is people power.
The former Prime Minister calls it a well-organised hit.
I certainly don't think I'm going to be out-campaigned, but I'm pretty confident I will be outspent, given the amount of money that Get Up and the unions and some very wealthy people associated with the renewable sector are likely to put into this seat.
And he's playing down the prospects of an anti-Liberal Wentworth tide washing across the harbour.
The circumstances were very, very different. It was a by-election and you had a retiring member who didn't want to get involved with his nominated Liberal successor.
Locals backing Zali Steggall are optimistic about change, but it's going to be a very difficult task. Tony Abbott holds Warringah on an 11% margin, and the Liberal Party's first preference vote has never dipped below 50% here. And unlike previous independent victories in Wentworth and Indi, Zali Steggall can't count on their local and unique factors being repeated here.
The independents who've run so far successfully have been special. They've already had national profiles or very strong local profiles. So I think we need to dampen down our expectations about just how easy it is for an independent to win.